And welcome to the Nasboys podcast. Now, did you know that in 2007, Martin Truex Jr. was caught drunkenly urinating in public by a police officer? The officer walked up to him and said, "I bet that's worth $100." Truex said, "It is worth $100," and proceeded to pull out a $100 bill. So, anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike Bob Fan 101. With my good friend and co-host Cam, aka Noticed_Cam.
Howdy.
So let's get down to talking about some NASCAR. And before we get started, I want to make a quick immature joke. This is the Nasboys podcast 69th episode for the NASCAR podcast. So nice. Anyways, let's get down to talking about some racing for real this time. We're going to kick it off with the Xfinity race. So I did not watch it, but Cam, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I watched bits and pieces of it, and I thought it was an okay race. Seeing Ty Gibbs win, it was actually a kind of a weird finish. I just didn't expect him to pull it off, but it was an all right race. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Interesting. So I'm just about to pull up what you guys had to say. Here it is. So 0% of you said great, 33% of you said good, and 67% of you said meh/okay, and none of you said bad. No thoughts, and driver of the day, Ty Gibbs, which I can agree with since, for starters, I didn't watch it, and I know he won the race. 5th win on the season, 9th career Xfinity win. Very impressive stats right there.
Yeah, I agree with Ty Gibbs.
So now let's talk about the Cup race. I did not also watch this one, but I have some more notes. I've been missing the Cup races a lot recently. Just work has been scheduling me when they happen. I really want to try to fix that if I can. But anyways, this is not about my work schedule. This is about the podcast. I know Kevin Harvick won, which is great to see him win. He's been having a very season. He's been consistent, but his pit crew has been screwing him over. Let's see, we had a big wreck with J.J. Yeley.
J.J. Yeley's around the 10 and 2, hard into the wall. Oh, goodness. Kyle Busch involved, big damage on the 18 as well. This is the concern about pitting and losing track position is the chaos on the starts. Huge damage to his Cindric.
Which J.J. Yeley is trash, completely dumping the 18 car again. Well, he didn't dump the 18 car, but he keeps getting the 18 car wrecked. We saw Ross Chastain get wrecked as well.
Ross trying to go to the outside of the 20 here. Got a good positioning. He goes to the outside in the 20, trying to protect that position up the racetrack.
And Ross had just come out on tires, was trying to get back by the 20, and Christopher Bell just either didn't know he was there or was trying to block that position.
Very interesting. But it was Bell's fault, but it wasn't like too bad. Well, it was like a super speedway deal. It was so stupid. But yeah, Kevin Harvick, from what I heard, just had a 4-second lead. I think the driver that everybody really is talking about is Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace had probably his best run of the season. I always say that whenever I talk about Bubba Wallace, but he had a really good run. He started on the pole. He led 22 laps, and then he was mostly in the front of the field from what I was hearing about from the notes I have on my phone. But he had a great run, and he was really upset that he couldn't get his team the victory, which I get. I mean, they're not the best team in the garage. They're still up and coming, but I'm not the biggest fan of Bubba Wallace myself, but this race really showed me that he is actually a good driver, and it is his pit crew's fault. And you know what? I'm not the biggest fan of him, and this kind of hurts to say, but I think he will get a win sometime soon. He's been having a great top 10 streak, and things are just starting to go in the right place for him. So I think he
What about
shouldn't feel like a failure and that it was a little much to say he was a failure. He should just go out there and go again next week. And Richmond's a great track for Toyota, so maybe he could do something there.
yeah, what did I say, Mike? I think I said next year I think he'll get at least 2 or maybe 3 wins.
Yeah, you did say that, and I thought you were
It's
crazy.
controversial, but man, I'm telling you, I think it can happen. But that's besides the point. We're talking about today's race, which I was so happy to see Kevin Harvick win. He kind of came out of nowhere near, I'd say, late stage 2 and early stage 3. And I think with the whole Christopher Bell incident, I think that was just one of those speedway racing incidents, like Mike said. I mean, nothing that really should be like all whammy about. And Bubba did have a really good race. He was started first, cool. Which I wasn't expecting that to happen at all. I did not see that coming. That was like a left hook. And then he kind of stayed in the top 10 and kind of went to the top 15 for a little bit, but he relatively stayed pretty good and was up with the big dogs. I thought he was going to win, and we're going to get to driver of the day soon, but he will definitely be my driver of the day. I can say that now.
Sorry, I did not realize I was muted there, but yeah, I didn't put the picks out, unfortunately. So if any of you guys got Kevin Harvick, and don't lie to me, you had to actually have picked Kevin Harvick. Don't just say for a shout out. Shout out to you. But anyways, 50% of you said great, 33% of you said good, 17% of you said mesh, that's okay, and none of you said bad. Wow. Henry24257 says decent cup race for Michigan standards, 8 out of 10. No driver of the day. Oh man, I don't know who to give it to considering I didn't watch the race. I know Denny Hamlin, I think he led the most laps and Harvick led the same amount of laps. So I'm going to give it to Harvick because he won the race, but Bubba Wallace should also be in consideration.
I'm giving it to Bubba. He was really good. He went past the standards in that race.
He did go past the standards. So there is a couple of things to talk about news-wise. For starters, we have Kyle Busch. Apparently, Joe Gibbs is starting to give up on signing him because they don't have the sponsorship. And a lot of people are considering Colleague Racing and Stewart Haas Racing to be the front runners to sign him, which is very shocking to see Kyle Busch not go back to JGR. But it could be wrong. It could be all noise, and Kyle Busch really is, but it does not sound good from the looks of it. And I think he will go to the 41 if he does leave Joe Gibbs.
The 41, really?
Well, yeah, because Ryan Preece is most likely going to go to the 10. Though, yes, he could go to the 10. I've just heard 41 more than the 10.
How many more years does Harvick have on his contract? Do you know?
He has. He's going to be out in 2023.
Dang, okay, I was wondering because I was gonna be like, I wonder. I can't remember if it was this year or next year, but yeah. I was like, imagine if Kyle Busch went to that 4 car, that would be crazy.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, if Stewart Haas was against them, I 100% think that Busch is going to the 10. I feel like it'd be the smarter decision. Please go to the 41. I feel like the 10 has a better team. I mean, this is my personal opinion, but
Well, he could go to the 10. I could be wrong, but like I said, just everywhere I've been reading has been talking mostly about the 41 because everybody thinks Preece is going to get the 10, which I don't know if he should or not. I mean, I think he's their best option. So I don't know. I have mixed opinions on that, but something that we did know happened was Noah Gregson is now going to be the new driver of the 42 car, which is currently occupied by Ty Dillon. I'm not the biggest Noah Gregson fan, but good for him. I believe I've mentioned this before on my podcast, or on this podcast, excuse me, not my podcast. My cousin is Ty Dillon's crew chief, and if he stays on the 42 car, which I hope he does, he will be Noah Gregson's crew chief. So it will be great to see what he can do with a legitimate talent like Noah Gregson. And we've been waiting for Noah Gregson to be in the Cup Series for a couple of years. So I think now is the perfect time. This is the perfect team for him to get the start with. So I'm really interested to see how Noah will do this next season.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be crazy. Now I have a feeling that Noah's gonna have one of these Kevin Hart type deals where you remember, I don't know if you guys remember Kevin Hart when he was young, Harvick when he was younger. He was a little bit of a wild kid, you know what I mean? When he
Oh
first
yeah,
came into the Cup Series, I mean, he was wild. I mean, I remember people hated him. People did not like his attitude. They thought he was not good enough for them and how he just handled situations. And I think Noah Gregson is going to be Kevin, in this next year. I kind of have that feeling that he's just going to have this eagerness to him and he's young and doesn't understand the rules of NASCAR and the Cup Series and how you'll just get toyed with if you're not careful. And I mean, I don't know. I hope Noah's really learning to calm down his anger because, I mean, what was it? A couple of races ago, he just like legit wrecked the whole field.
yep.
So, I mean, it's kind of like a good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, your assessment on Noah Gregson is correct, Cam. He really is wild, and a lot of people they don't consider him like Kevin Harvick in the Xfinity Series. He's more like Kyle Busch, but I think he's just on a level of his own. I think he will definitely be aggressive, and he will be adding on to the aggressive drivers with Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, and Ross Chastain, of course. So it'll be interesting to see Noah in the Cup Series next year.
Yes, it will.
And now I guess we can get into our picks. This was kind of a fast episode, dang.
This was a fast. I can't believe it.
I know. Okay, so this weekend we're racing at Richmond. Last race was it was all right. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. Denny Hamlin won there. So kicking it off with the Truck Series, they're racing there. I'm gonna go with John Hunter Nemechek.
I'm thinking. I'm going Zane Smith, man.
All right. And now for the Cup race. This is going to be a tight playoff battle, which is some great storylines, even though, again, Richmond is not at all the best track, but some great storylines here. Martin Truex Jr. and Ryan Blaney fighting for that last playoff spot. And then what's going to happen to Kurt Busch? Because as you may know, Kurt Busch has been out for the last few races with a concussion. And he's had that concussion lingering since, I believe, the first Atlanta race or the Bristol Dirt race. I could be wrong. So Ty Gibbs will continue to be in the 45 car, which he has also impressed. But it will be interesting to see what happens because if Kurt Busch does come back before the regular season finale at Daytona, he gets his playoff waiver, which keeps him in 16th. But if he does not come back before Daytona, that could mean Ryan Blaney or any of the other drivers can snatch up a spot. And one driver to look out for is Martin Truex Jr. He's not my pick for this race, but I am really looking out for Martin Truex Jr. He is very dangerous on this track, as are most Toyotas. So expect him to have a chip on his shoulder and really go for this win. But I think I'm going to go with Ryan Blaney, and my dark horse pick is going to be Christopher Bell.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm thinking right now, guys. My pick might. Oh, it's scary times. It's scary times. Truex pulled it off last year. You said Blaney. That's a good pick, Mike. I like that pick. That's a good pick. I think I'm going to go with Chase Elliott.
All right. And so with that, that will conclude the 69th episode of the Nasboys podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
You want me calling night, you want it